All right, Nick, let's talk about the Miami Dolphins. Now that we are post draft, we get to dive deep into the later round guys, into the undrafted free agents that teams have brought in. And when we look at the Miami Dolphins, there's one guy in particular that really has jumped off the page to us. I think he could be potential to be a star in the making for the Dolphins. Let's get into the article and then we can talk more about all of this on the other side. This is from over on the Palm Beach Post. Says Mo Kamara was participating in his first Miami Dolphins walkthrough at rookie minicamp in May, and well, he was a bit too wound up. He said, "I'm fired up," Kamara said Friday before a Dolphins rookie camp practice session. Coach had to tell me to calm down. That was outside linebackers coach Ryan Crow. Kamara, who's a 6'1", 248-pounder, is on a mission. He said, "My brother called me last night," Kamara said, and he said, you made it into the locker room. So that's all it means. It just means you made it to the locker room, nothing else. You still have to prove yourself. Obviously, he's talking about being able to make the team. Just getting drafted doesn't mean you're going to make it. I think we thought this was really interesting mentality for Kamara, Nick. Curious what your thoughts are, but before we get to you, Nick, Dolphins fans, in the comment section below, minicamp has started. We're going to see things progress. Who are you the most excited to see, whether it's a new face, free agent that you've brought onto the team, or if it's a rookie or undrafted free agent that you're eyeing to make a big impact over this offseason? Let us know in the comment section below. But Nick, what are your thoughts on Kamara?
So first and foremost, we got to give a lot of credit to the Dolphins front office and their scouting department because what they did in the draft, especially in day three kind of picks, was absolutely outstanding. We talked about Jalen Wright, running back from Tennessee. They added into the fold. That was a great pick. Of course, Malik Washington looks like a steal in the sixth round. But Mo Kamara coming out of Colorado State, look, he was a very dominant player. He had some size issues, was very productive. Him falling to the Dolphins in round five did certainly look like a steal. But he was one of these players I wanted to see how he acted and what he looked like when he started at minicamp, when he started actually showing up in an NFL environment, because all signs indicated that this kid was going to be a superstar. This kid was a steal, but he's a little on the smaller side, traditionally height wise, different level of competition, Mountain West. Was a great player in college, but I'm like, listen, I want to see if he just has what it takes before we crown him as a potential steal, right? Because obviously, coming out of the draft, Kamara certainly looked like he would be. Well, I think he passed the test with flying colors. He reminds me, intensity wise, of a John Randall, defensive lineman for the Minnesota Vikings, way back. He was very undersized. I believe Randall was actually an undrafted free agent. He went on to go into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Randall was known for his intensity. Coaches spent Randall's entire career trying to calm him down, pull him back. But Randall was all about effort, intensity, drive, and having a chip on his shoulder. Kamara is cut from the same cloth, both size wise, right? Kamara's a little bit undersized in terms of height, length, and things like that. But I love the fact he has a chip on his shoulder. I love the fact he's got intensity because we talk about it all the time. You can't coach intensity, you can't coach effort, you can't coach want to. And having a guy like Kamara who has the production, has the history that he did at Colorado State, which means he's a pretty good football player, factored in with his effort, drive, intensity, he's going to be a really good football player for the Dolphins as well. He's going to be super productive. And here's the beauty of it. He's not going to have to play an incredible amount of snaps because this is a Dolphins defense that already has a lot of key players in place. Don't get me wrong, Kamara will play a lot if healthy, but I think he's not going to have to be thrown in the deep end and do everything right away. He'll be able to jump in there and just be a disruptive force early as he continues to grow and develop. But hearing this kid's mentality, his attitude, his demeanor, I think it's perfect for the Dolphins coming from him, a young defensive lineman.
Yeah, Nate, and I think this guy's great when you look over his whole career. This is a guy who came in his first year in college, 2019, and he made a splash right off the bat. He had that big 63-yard fumble return that for a touchdown that year. Then, pandemic shortened season, that whole issue kind of really hindered him, slowed him down a little bit. Comes back 2022 big second team All Mountain West, led the team in sacks, led the team in tackles for loss. And then this last year is what really impressed me. Second team All American, Mountain West Defensive Player of the Year, first team All Mountain West, led the Mountain West in sacks, and he was a team captain, and he had another fumble return for a touchdown as well. This guy has all the intangibles that you want out of a linebacker. This guy has, great speed. He's got that 4.5 40 for a linebacker. That's pretty quick. And I just think he is a big time addition to this Dolphins team. And I'm really surprised that like we said, I'm surprised that he got this far. I'm really impressed with what the Dolphins were able to do, getting some of these guys on day 3 who really seem like they're going to be big time playmakers for this team. If we're being completely honest, these are guys people missed out on just maybe because the level of football they played at, maybe their size or something along those lines. The Dolphins saw through that and they just looked for the best football players, and that is exactly what Mo Kamara is. I think he's a great football player, and the Dolphins are lucky for it.
You bring up an interesting point because we talked about before the draft the fact that college football has the NIL and the new transfer portal. Everyone was talking about how all the value was going to be in the first 3 rounds, first 100 or so draft prospects. And really, after round 3, they're just the normal quality of draft prospects available was going to be significantly lower compared to prior years, again, because of the NIL and NIL and transfer portal. But what the Dolphins did is they kind of just flipped that on its head because they got third round and second round quality guys in the fourth and fifth round, right? And again, give credit to the Dolphins for doing a great job executing on it, right? I think this is a lot of people don't like Chris Greer for a number of reasons, right? He's done a lot of good things, done some questionable things, but I think what's really undeniable is that the day 3 and a lot of day 2 as well. I know some of the picks. I like Chops Robinson day 1. I know some people didn't like the tackle in day 2, but still, the overall draft strategy from Chris Greer and his staff was absolutely outstanding. And it's probably pretty easy to say that the Dolphins got more value out of anybody in the entire draft, which sets them up to have great success, not just in the short term. We know they're going to be good in 2024, but in the long term as well.